Raise those taxes. What? Can't hear nothing. What do you mean can't hear nothing? How about now? Can you hear it now? The other old men. How about now? Damn it. How about now? Nothing? Can anyone else hear it? Maybe it's just Tony. Gonna load an ad now. Bastards. How about now? I just reloaded it. Fuck. Why is it not working? What about now? How about now? How about now? What the fuck is he talking about? Holy Jesus. I hope you can hear this. Oh my god. I've unmuted everything. Can you hear this? Oh my god. Constitutional stall steps. Jesus. How did he agree to this? Like 20 minutes in and he's already just bad. Just bad. All right, let me try again. Oh my God.
Can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. A thumbs
Oh,
up?
sorry. Yeah, I turned my mic down. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I can hear you. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes.
So you can't hear the debate?
No, I can't hear nothing.
You gotta be kidding me. Oh, sorry. Yeah, I turned my mic down.
Oh shit. I forgot my phone was still on.
Blows my mind.
Trying to think how to do this.
You what?
I'm trying to think of how it works. Because
Yeah, what?
something's wrong. Because I don't even hear the debate from here.
Justin.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, I can't hear you now.
You can't hear me now?
Oh, I can hear you. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay. No, you're good. No, I can't hear the debate at all on my end.
What the fuck? I have like several times I've oh, it's annoying. Several times
I feel
but see, like when I go to present screen, it doesn't give me an option to approve audio. It just says
hold on.
Yeah.
Share screen. YouTube, right?
I don't care what you use. It doesn't give me the option to like approve audio or not.
Bring that up.
Continue to go into NATO. We have an Article 5 agreement. Attack on one is attack on
I'll
all.
double check on my
We
end.
want to start the nuclear war. Keeps talking about. Go ahead, let Putin go in and control Ukraine, and then move on to Poland and other places. See what happens then. He has no idea what the hell he's talking about. And by the way, I got 50 other nations around the world to support Ukraine, including Japan.
It's showing that there's audio.
They understand that this kind of dislocation has a serious threat to the whole world peace. No major war in Europe has ever been able to be contained just to Europe.
President Trump, just to follow up, would you support the creation of an independent Palestinian state in order to achieve peace in the region?
I'd have to see, but before we do that, the problem we have is that we
Okay.
spend all
You
the
guys down
money.
now.
So they kill us on trade. I made great trade deals with the European.
Damn Apple.
Because if you add them up, they're about the same size economically. Their economy is about the same size as the United States.
Seriously.
No cars, no, they don't want anything that we have, but we're supposed to take their cars, their food, their everything, their agriculture.
Oh,
I changed
there we
that.
go.
But the big
Don't
thing,
be pausing that shit.
hey,
Sorry.
the only reason
I just wanted to get a good funny
play
meme.
games with NATO is because I got them to put up hundreds of billions of dollars. I said, and he's right about this. I said, no, I'm not going to support NATO if you don't pay. They asked me that question. Would you guard us against Russia at a very secret meeting of the 28 states at that time, nations at that time? And they said, no, if you don't pay, I won't do that. And you know what happened? Billions and billions of dollars came flowing in the next day and the next months. But now we're in the same position. We're paying everybody's bills.
Let's turn to the issue of democracy. Former President Trump, I want to ask you about January 6, 2021. After you rallied your supporters that day, some of them stormed the Capitol to stop the constitutionally mandated counting of electoral votes. As president, you swore an oath to, quote, preserve, protect, and defend, unquote, the Constitution. What do you say to voters who believe that you violated that oath through your actions and inaction on January 6th and
Nice
worry
work,
that you'll
Justin.
do it again?
Well, I don't think too many believe that.
Son.
And let me tell you about January 6th.
Yes, I got you.
On January 6th, we had a great border. Nobody coming through, very few.
I don't have a
On
camera,
January
but we're
6th,
good.
we were energy independent. On January 6th, we had the lowest taxes ever. We had the lowest regulations ever. On January 6th, we were respected all over the world. All over the world, we were respected. And then he comes in, and we're now laughed at. We're like a
The
bunch of
fuck was
stupid
that look?
people. What happened to the United States' reputation?
Dude, he
under
looks
this man's
so much
leadership
like just a
is
grandfather.
horrible,
Like, it's
including
ridiculous. Like,
weaponization, which I'm sure at
just
some
like a
point we'll be
demented
talking about,
grandfather.
where he goes after his
Just like,
political opponent because he can't be
insane.
fair and square.
Oh, my
You
goodness.
have 80 seconds left. My question was, what do you say to those voters who believe that you violated your constitutional oath through your actions and inaction on January 6, 2021, and worry that you'll do
Come
it
on,
again?
Trump.
Well, I
This is
didn't say
easy.
that to anybody. I
Right.
said peacefully and patriotically. And Nancy Pelosi, if you just watched the news from 2 days ago, on tape to her daughter, who's a documentary filmmaker, they say, but
Filmmaker.
she's saying, "Oh
Filmmaker.
no, it's my responsibility. I was responsible for this," because I offered her 10,000 soldiers or National Guard, and she turned them down. And the mayor of, in writing, by the way, the mayor, in writing, turned it down. The mayor of D.C. They turned it down. I offered 10,000 because I could see I had virtually nothing to do. They asked me to go make a speech. I could see what was happening. Everybody was saying they're going to be there on January 6th. They're going to be there. And I said, you know what? There's a lot of people coming. You could feel it. You could feel it too, and you could feel it. And I said, they ought to have some
You could
National
feel
Guard
it.
or whatever.
You could feel
And I
it.
offered it to her, and she now admits that
My
she
God.
turned it down. And it was the same day she was, I don't know, she can't be very happy with her daughter because it made her into a liar. She said, I take full responsibility for January 6th.
President Biden?
Look, he encouraged those folks to go up on Capitol Hill. Number one, I sat in the dining room off the Oval Office. He sat there
Did he
for
get
3
fucking
hours,
luggagitis
3
or
hours
something?
watching, begging, being begged
Dude,
by his
He
vice
is
president
Walter,
and a number of his
the
colleagues,
you know
and
the
Holocaust
ventriloquist,
to do
Jeff
something,
Dunham.
to call
He
for
Yes.
is
stop,
fucking
to end
Walter,
it.
dude.
Instead, he talked. They're talking
He is straight up
about
Walter.
patriots and great patrons.
He's
of
so
America.
quiet though
In
this
fact,
time.
he says
Yeah.
he'll now forgive them.
Yeah,
for
because
what
he
they've
doesn't
done.
he,
You know,
he doesn't know what he's
they've
talking
been
about.
Convicted. He says he wants to commute their sentences and say that no. He went to every single court in the nation. I don't know how many cases, scores of cases, including
My
Supreme
God,
Court.
my
He
grandfather.
went
They
to
said
he went to
he
every one of the
fully
courts and the cases.
discharged
I don't know which ones.
responsibility
All around the
for doing what
world.
was being- that was done. He did do a damn
God.
thing.
I don't know how
These
many.
people should be in jail, and they should be the ones who are being held accountable. And he wants to let them all out. And now he says if he loses again, such a whiner that he is, that there could be a bloodbath.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump?
What they've done to
Shut
some
him off.
people that are so innocent, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. What you have done, how you've destroyed the lives of so many people when they ripped down
Ooh, this is
Portland,
good.
when they ripped down many other cities. You go to Minnesota, Minneapolis, what they've done there with the fires all over the
Yep.
city. If I didn't bring in the National Guard, that city would have been destroyed. When you look at all of they took over big chunks of Seattle. I was all set to bring in the National Guard. They heard that, they saw them coming, and they left immediately. What he said about this whole subject is so off. Peacefully patriotic. One other thing, the Unselect Committee, which is basically two horrible Republicans that are all
He had a
gone now
point,
out of
and he
office,
should have kept going with
and
it.
Democrats,
But he
all
like,
Democrats.
yeah,
They
he went
destroyed
left field.
and deleted all of
Yep.
the information they found because they found out we were right. We were right. And they deleted and destroyed
Biden's trying
all
to
of the
process
information.
that.
They should go to jail for
What
that.
just happened?
If a Republican did that, they'd go to
Thank
jail.
you, President Trump. President Biden, I want to give you a minute.
The only person on this stage is a convicted felon is the man I'm looking at right now.
Oh, you knew that was
Fact of the
coming out.
matter
Yeah.
You knew that was
is
coming.
what he's
Jesus.
telling you is simply not true. The fact is that there was no effort on his part to stop what was going on up in Capitol Hill. And all those people, every one of those who were convicted, deserves to be convicted. The idea that they didn't kill somebody, just went in and broke down doors, broke the windows.
They didn't kill
Well,
anybody. This is
turned over
ridiculous.
Wasn't
turned
at
over
least one
statues.
dead?
The idea that those people
A
are
protester,
ignorant.
3 protesters died, and a cop.
And I
A
asked
cop
him in the
died like
first
2 days
two
later.
debates we
Like
had,
it
the
was
debates
from a
we had
stroke.
first time
And then
around.
the
I
other
said,
one's
"Will you
like
denounce the
one
Proud Boys?"
dude died from
He
like a
said, "No,
speed
I'm gonna stand
overdose,
by."
and then the other
The
two,
idea he's refusing.
then
will you
one got shot in the
denounce these
chest
guys?
by
You denounce the people we're
security.
talking about now.
Right?
You denounce the
So
people. Who
yeah, it was
attacked
just
that
fucking
Capitol.
yeah.
What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm going to give you a minute,
Jesus
President Trump,
Christ.
for a follow-up question. I
Fucking
have.
love this. This is great.
after a jury convicted you of 34 felonies last month, you said if reelected, you would, quote, have every right to go after, unquote, your political opponents. You just talked about members of the select committee on January 6th going to jail. Your main political opponent is standing on stage with you tonight. Can you clarify exactly what it means about you feeling you have every right to go after your political opponents?
Well, I said my
Look at him. He looks so
retribution is going to
pathetic.
be success.
He
We're going to
does.
make this country successful again, because right now it's a failing nation. My retribution is going to be success. But when he talks about a convicted felon, his son is a convicted felon at a very high level. His son is convicted, going to be convicted probably numerous other times. Should have been convicted before, but his Justice Department let the statute of limitations lapse on the most important things. But he could be a convicted felon as soon as he gets out of office. Joe could be a convicted felon with all of the things that he's done. He's done horrible things. All of the death caused at the border, telling the Ukrainian people that we're going to want $1 billion or you change the prosecutor. Otherwise, you're not getting $1 billion. If I ever said that, that's quid pro quo. That we're not going to do anything. We're not going to give you $1 billion unless you change your prosecutor. It has to do with the son.
Yeah, quid
This
pro
guy's a
quo is
criminal.
which is what they
No, we're not
initially
we're not I
impeached
did
him for.
wrong.
So
We
it's
have a
great.
system that was rigged and disgusting. I did nothing wrong.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden, you have said, I'm coming right to you, sir. You want to respond? Go ahead. I'll give you a minute to respond.
The idea that I did anything wrong relative to what you're talking about is outrageous. It's simply a lie. Number one. Number
outrageous.
two, the idea that you have a right to seek retribution against any American just because you're president is wrong. It's simply wrong. No president's ever spoken like that before. No president in our history has spoken like that before. Number three, the crimes that you are still charged with, and think of all the civil penalties you have. How many billions of dollars?
Trump
you
looks like
know
a
from
frog.
Congress
Look at him.
for
Just
arresting
fucking.
women in public, for
Just
doing
looks
a
like a
whole range of
fucking
things,
frog.
Biden's like a
having
fly. He's
sex
about
with
ready
a
to
porn
fucking snatch
star
him up one
Yeah,
of these.
night
yeah, yeah.
while your
Totally.
wife is pregnant. I mean, what are you talking about? You have the morals
Oh
on that?
God, the two of them.
Give you a minute, sir.
I didn't have sex with a porn star. Number one.
They
Number
did not
two,
have
that was
sexual
a case that was
relationship with that
started
woman.
and moved. They moved a
Fucking Bill
high-ranking
Clinton.
official, a DOJ, into the Manhattan DA's office to start that case. That case is going to be appealed and won. We had a very terrible judge, a horrible judge, Democrat. The prosecutor were all high-ranking Democrats, appointed people, and both the civil and the criminal. He basically went after his political opponent because he thought it was going to damage me. But when the public found out about these cases, because they understand it better than he does, he has no idea what these cases are. But when they found out about these cases, you know what they did? My poll
Look, he
numbers
just
went
looks so
way up.
lost.
You know that because you're
He
reporting
just
it.
looks so
And we
fucking
took in more
lost.
money in the last 2 weeks than we've ever taken in the history
Well,
of
they
any
have
campaign.
no
I don't
notes,
think any campaign
no
has
earpieces,
ever
nothing.
taken hundreds of millions
Like
of
he's there
dollars
by
they're
himself
pouring in
right now.
because the public knows it's a
I
scam.
read
And it's a
that
guy that's
they were
after
gonna
his
do like a
political opponent 'cause
2
you
minute
can't win fair and square.
Thank you, President Trump.
a
President
2 minute
Biden, you have
delay
said,
so they
quote,
can
Donald
like
Trump and his MAGA
make
Republicans
Biden look
are
better.
determined to destroy
But
American
it's not working.
democracy. Do you
It's not
believe that the
working at
tens of
all.
millions of Americans who are likely to vote for President Trump
She's
will
about
be
ready to fall
voting
over.
against American democracy?
The more they know about what he's done, yes, the more they know about what he's done. And there's a lot more coming. He's got a lot of cases down the road coming around. He's got a whole range of issues he has to face. I don't know what the juries will do, but I do know he has a real problem. And so the fact that, could you ever think you hear any president say that I'm going to seek retribution? You ever hear any president say that I thought Hitler had some good ideas? What got me involved to run in the first place after my son had died, I decided in Iraq, because of Iraq, I said I wasn't going to run again.
You
until
mean
I
the war
saw
that you
happened in
voted for, you
Charlottesville,
fucking
Virginia.
cocksucker?
People coming out of the woods carrying
Is
swastikas
it-
on
yeah.
torches,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and singing the
going with
same
that.
anti-Semitic bile they sang when back in Germany. And and the young woman got killed. I spoke to the mother, and they asked him. They said, "What do you think of those people? People who
Trump's
the ones
like,
that got
this
killed,
guy's
the ones
lost
who tried
it.
to stop it,
He's
and the
lost
ones he
it.
said, I think they're fine people on both sides." What American president would ever say Nazis coming out of fields carrying torches, singing the same anti-Semitic bile,
Oh my
carrying
god.
swastikas were fine people?
You can just go back
This
and
is
look
the
at the
guy who says
speech,
Hitler's
and
done
it's
some
just
good
not.
things.
That's just
Don't
not
know
the
what they
case.
are.
It's a fucking
Right.
lie.
Good things Hitler's
Yeah.
done. That's what he said. This guy
God.
has no
So
sense for
fucking
American
stupid.
democracy.
President Trump.
Jake, both of you know that story has been totally wiped out because when you see the sentence, it said 100% exoneration on that. So he just
Facial
keeps again. He says
expression
he
will
ran
always
because
get
of
you
Yeah.
Charlottesville.
Huh?
You just like,
He ran
who?
because it was his last chance. He's not equipped to be president. You know it. And
This
I know
guy
it's
actually had a
ridiculous. We have a
retribution
debate.
of what
We're
I
trying
just
to
said.
justify
Holy
his
shit!
presidency. His presidency, he's without question the worst president, the worst presidency in the history of our country. We shouldn't be having a debate about it. There's nothing to debate. He made up the Charlottesville story, and you'll see it's debunked all over the place.
Yep.
Every anchor has, every reasonable anchor has debunked it. And just the other day, it came out where it was fully debunked. It's a nonsense story. He knows that, and he didn't run because of Charlottesville. He used that as an excuse to run.
President Biden.
And debunked. It happened. All you have to do is listen to what was said at the time. And the idea that somehow that's the only
Why is
reason
he looking
I
that
ran.
way?
I ran because I was
I
very
don't
compelled this guy
know.
to get elected. If he thought
Lost.
they were good
He doesn't know
people
where to
coming
look.
out of that forest, carrying those woods, carrying those torches, then he didn't deserve to be president. Didn't deserve to be president at all. And the idea that he's talking about all this being fabricated, we saw with our own eyes. We saw what happened on January 6th. We saw the people breaking through the windows. We saw people occupying his own vice president. Look, there's a reason why 40 of
What the
his
fuck?
44 top
We
cabinet
saw the
officers
people, the
he
own
should
vice
be enforcing
president.
this time. The vice president
My
has been
goodness.
enforcing this
I
time.
wish I had a camera right now
Why? They know him well.
because I'm
They
just like
service
shaking
him.
my head.
Why are they not endorsing
Yeah.
him?
Thank you, President Biden. We're going to be right back with more from the CNN presidential debate.
I love the fact that it's CNN because you know they're fucking trying to trash it.
You know they're trying absolutely to
Destroy them.
well they're trying so much to go for Biden, right? Like so they're definitely like they're trying to cast him in the best light ever, right? And
Right.
they're still they just still can't.
Like, what, I've been here, what, 15, 20 minutes? And like I said, facial expression is like subtitles.
Oh my god, the first 15 minutes, man, I'm so pissed. Like I wish you could have heard it because it was like he was talking about one thing and he went left field and Trump went, huh? Like what? Like what the fuck? It was like it was blatantly obvious. Like he went into a different story that he wasn't supposed to go into. So
Well,
there's
yeah, I mean, like I said, everything's kind of just like there's no earpieces, there's nothing, there's no audience. CNN obviously is trying to blast it, and it's not going to work because Joe Biden on his own is obviously not a good deal.
yeah, he's a shit show. Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what happened? Are you sure? Are you sure about that? Like, his expressions are just like retarded right now. But sorry, I don't mean to say that, but
No, it's all right. Your dog even thinks so.
I know.
Your dog's like, yeah, fucking retard. I think that's actually being, yeah, I don't know, almost too
nice about
kind,
it.
too kind.
I mean, I can go off, but no.
No, it's all right. No, I really wish, honestly, the first 20 minutes, I would say, well, between 5 minutes and like 18 minutes, like just in that, like in those minutes right there, I was listening and I'm like, oh my God, like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He can't keep on subject, which is huge, right?
Right.
Like in a debate, you should be able to keep on subject. Couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. Like he flat out like, and then like he's talking, he's just like, like he doesn't have teeth. You know what I mean? Like
That's what I thought. Like,
Yeah,
I
it's
thought
like-
his teeth were just like, are they brand new that he's not used to them or what?
I don't know. I do not know. It's fucking like, dude, come on. Like he doesn't have teeth. So
Yeah.
ridiculous. Ugh.
What's up, Dustin?
What's up, DJ man? Hey man. Yeah, we're watching the presidential debate. Yeah, and Justin came on and saved me because apparently I gotta stop using like Foxfire, I guess.
I don't know. However you set it up, but I
Yeah.
got you. I got you. We're watching Fox News with the CNN presidential debate, so you can tell how
Yeah.
that goes.
Oh, here we go. Back up. Maybe.
There it is.
Welcome back to the CNN presidential debate live from Georgia. Let's talk about persistent challenges you both faced
Straight
in
up.
your first terms, and you'd
Yeah.
certainly face
You
I'm
again.
got
running
me.
out of my free minutes.
President Biden, while Black unemployment dropped to a record low under your presidency, Black families still earn far less than white families. Black mothers are still 3 times more likely to die from pregnancy-related causes, and Black Americans are imprisoned at 5 times the rate of white Americans. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed that you haven't made more progress?
They acknowledge
If you
we had a
don't
lot of
vote
progress.
for me, I'm more Black than you.
Fact of the matter is, there's more
Oh, sorry.
small Black businesses that have been started from any time in history.
Dustin, you
Number
have
2,
mail.
The wages
Yeah.
Black unemployment is the lowest level it's been in a long, long time. Number 3, we're providing housing for Black Americans and dealing with the segregation that exists among these corporate.
I think he just wanted to say
these corporate
blackies.
corporations that collude
I'm just throwing that
keep
out
the
there.
people out of
Right.
their houses.
Yep.
And in addition to that, we find that the impact on the choice that Black families
Can I
have to
say it,
make
please? Can I
relative
say
to
it?
childcare
Today,
is
Junior?
incredibly difficult. When we did the first major piece of legislation in the past, I was able to reduce Black childcare costs. I cut them in half. We got to make sure we provide for childcare costs. We got to make sure, because when you provide those childcare protections, you increase economic growth because more people come in. So there's more to be done, considerably more to be done. But we've done a great deal so far, and I'm not letting up, and they know it.
You have 49 seconds left. What do you say to Black voters who are disappointed with the progress so far?
I say I don't blame them for being disappointed. Inflation is still hurting them badly. For example, I provided for the idea that
Thank you, sir.
any Black family,
Happy to see.
first-time home buyer, should get a $10,000 tax
You got to
credit
check out
to be able to buy their
DJ's
first home,
podcast.
so they can get started.
Awesome.
I made
DTD
sure that we're in a
podcast.
situation
Yeah,
where
send it to
all
me.
those Black families,
Hell yeah.
Black individuals
And
who provided, had to
thank
do
you, sir.
student
Yes.
loans,
I got a 8-hour
Money.
fucking drive tomorrow,
They
so
go
to get
and
right
Ooh.
from Colorado. So
Good God.
Anything having to do with volunteerism. If they paid their bills for 10 years on their student debt, all the rest is forgiven after 10 years. Millions have benefited from that. And we're going to do a whole lot more for Black families.
You
Thank you,
fucking
President
asshole.
Trump.
And he
Like,
caused the inflation. He's blaming inflation, and he's right. It's been very bad. He caused the inflation, and it's killing Black families.
No,
and
that's not even
Hispanic
true.
Families and just about everybody.
that's not true.
It's killing people. They can't.
They've
buy
been printing
groceries
money
anymore.
since
They
like
can't. You look at the cost of
2002.
food where it's doubled,
like,
tripled,
like,
quadrupled.
like,
They
that's just,
can't
like
live.
it's just
They're
not
not
true.
living anymore.
right.
He caused
just
this
not true.
inflation. I gave him a country with essentially no inflation. It was perfect. It was so good. All he had to do is leave it alone. He destroyed it with his
Not true.
Green New Scam and
Not
all
true.
of the other, all this money that's being thrown out the
Just-
window.
The
I'm just
fuck
trying
is
to
it
figure
on
out-
his head?
Inflation.
It's like
As
flat.
sure as you're sitting there,
They're both flat.
the fact is,
Yeah, but like
that
his head
the
is like
big kill
yeah.
Trump
on the
is
Black
especially
people
flat.
is the millions of
Like a
people that he's
cutoff.
allowed to come
Yeah.
in through the border. They're taking Black jobs
Like
now.
you have a
And it could
lot of
be
money. Like
18,
you think you're
it
like
could
the
be
best
19 and
rug
even
you could
20
get,
million
right? Like,
people.
right?
They're taking Black
I
jobs,
think he's
and
going
they're
to the whole
taking
thing.
Hispanic
You know what?
jobs.
I'm just
And you
gonna go
haven't
on
seen
that
it
trail.
yet,
If
but
you don't
you're
like,
going to see something that's going to be the worst in our history.
Thank you. President Biden.
I got
There
Ivanka
was
Trump.
no
We're good.
inflation when I became president. You know why? The economy was flat on its back. 15% unemployment. He decimated the economy. Absolutely decimated the economy. That's why there was no inflation at the time. There were no jobs. We provided thousands of millions of jobs for individuals who are in all communities, including minority communities.
If you ever want me to pause this,
I did thousands of
covered-
millions of
the
jobs
JCA has
for
increased-
people.
I made sure that they're $8,000 per
God.
person in a family.
flat on our
Get rid of
back?
it
Are
from
you
healthcare.
fucking serious?
This guy wants to eliminate
I
it.
did
They passed it
thousands
2
of
times.
millions
He
of
wants to get rid of the
jobs.
ACA again, and they're going to try.
Dude,
to
my
do it.
grocery
We find ourselves in a position
bill a
where
month is
the
tripled.
idea that we're not
Yeah.
doing any,
Rent
we put more
is
police on
fucking
the street
quadruple.
than any administration has.
It's
He wants to cut the cops. We're providing
Justin, you
for
don't know what you're talking
equity-
about.
Equity and making sure people have.
oh, I'm sorry.
shot
We're flat
to
on our
make it.
back. My bad.
There's a lot going
Yeah.
on. But
You
inflation,
don't know what
he
you
I'm
don't
a
know what you
fucking-
mean.
by
I'm
his
fucking
Justin.
Michelangelo,
tremendous,
Teenage Mutant
uh,
Turtle that's sitting on his back
reasons
going,
why
"Help
to
me!"
handle the pandemic.
Thank you. Another persistent challenge is the climate crisis.
Oh,
2023
Jesus.
was the hottest year in
I gotta
recorded
grab beer
history,
for
and
this one.
communities across
Do it.
the country are confronting the devastating effects of extreme heat,
No, they aren't.
intensifying wildfires,
You're a
stronger
liar.
hurricanes, and rising sea
Liar.
levels. Former President
Liar.
Trump, you've vowed to end your opponent's climate initiatives, but will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
Let me just go back to what he said about the police, how close the police are to him. Almost every police group in the nation from every state is
He
supporting
just like he
Donald
looked
J.
at Trump
Almost
and he's
every
just like,
police group.
oh my
And
god,
what he's done to
what
the
are they
black
talking about?
population is horrible,
Like,
including the
right.
fact that for
His
10 years he
fucking
called them
face.
super predators.
So,
We can't in the 1990s.
Trump to
we
me
can't
is
forget
like
that. Super
the preacher,
predators was his name,
left to
and
right,
he called it to him for 10, and they've
all in
taken great
hair,
offense at it.
feather,
And now they see it
whatever they
happening.
say.
But when they see
And
what I did for
Biden's
criminal
like,
justice reform
"What'd you say,
and for
man?"
the historically black
he
colleges
just
and
looks at him like,
universities, where
what
I
the
funded
fuck?
them and got them all
Like, what?
funded, and the opportunity zones with Tim, as you know, Tim
So-
Scott was incredible. He did a great job. Great
One thing
senator
in the
from South Carolina. He came to me
in
with the idea, and it
the
was a great idea. It's one of the most
10 to 20
successful
minutes there
economic
that
development
was
acts
um,
ever in the country. Opportunities
that was
zones,
not
and the biggest
you couldn't
beneficiary
hear
are
it
blacks,
right
and
on
that's
the
why
live stream.
we have the best
One of the things
numbers with
was is
them
that
in
like he's like Border
maybe ever.
Patrol
They're saying ever. I
supports
read this
me,
morning
and
where
he
ever,
and
the
then
best
Trump was
numbers.
like, I don't know what he's
He's
talking about.
lost
I
much of
literally
the
just
black
talked to Border
population
Patrol people,
because he's
and
done a horrible job
they're
for
supporting
black
me.
people.
Like
He's
they
also done a
flat out
horrible job for
endorse me, and
Hispanics. But wait till you see these
and Biden
millions of
just looked
people
at him with
pouring
a
into our
like,
country, and they're going to take the job,
like,
and it's already started.
it was so
and you
funny.
haven't seen anything yet. It's a disaster.
You've 38 seconds left. President Trump, will you take any action as president to slow the climate crisis?
So 32
So I
seconds.
want absolutely immaculate clean water, and I want absolutely clean air. And we had it. We had H2O. We had the best numbers.
We had
ever,
H2O.
and we were using all forms of
H2O, give me
energy,
the
all
water.
forms, everything. And yet, during my 4 years, I had the best environmental numbers ever. And my top environmental people gave me that statistic just before I walked on the stage, actually.
I don't know where the hell he's been.
Yeah, that,
Idea.
like that didn't
Maybe
even
he said
answer the
it's true.
question.
I passed the most extensive climate change legislation.
Where the
in
hell he's been? He's been in
history.
court since he fucking
Find
left.
myself involved
Yeah,
with Black
seriously.
colleges. I came up with $15 billion for HBCUs, historic Black universities and colleges, because they
What the
don't
fuck
have-
does that
they
matter?
don't have the kind of contributors that they have to build these laboratories and the like. Any black
What?
student is capable in college of doing any white student can do. They just don't have the money, but now they'll be able to get those jobs in high tech. We're in a situation where the idea that
Coming out of left
he was
field.
claiming to have
I,
done
I think
something
Trump
that
should be
cleans
commended on
water.
his like absolute
Cleans water.
restraint,
He
is to
didn't have a
not
damn
like
thing
call
on
him
it.
out on his bullshit.
He pulled out of the Paris
Right, well,
Climate Accord
from what I
and
hear,
immediately joined it.
and then what I've
He said
watched,
if we reach
that
1.5 degrees
there is
Celsius,
lights on
then
their
he will
podiums
there's
that
no way
they're
back.
muted
The
or
only
not.
existential
And
threat
if
to
they try to
humanity
interrupt,
is climate
it will
change,
not
and he
actually
didn't do
cancel
a
out
damn thing about it.
the other
I must
person.
undo all that I've done.
So
The Paris Accord was going to cost us $1 trillion, and China nothing, and
Look
Russia
at him.
nothing, and India nothing.
look,
It was a
Look at
ripoff of the
Biden.
United States. And I ended it because I didn't want to waste that money because they treat us horribly. We were the only ones
Oh
who
my
was costing
God.
us money. Nobody else was paying into it. And it was a disaster. But everything that he said just now, I'll give you an example. I heard him say before insulin. I'm the one that got the insulin down for the seniors. I took care of the seniors. What he's doing is destroying all of our medical programs because the migrants coming in, they want everybody. And look, I have the biggest heart on the stage. I guarantee you that. And I want to take care of people, but we're destroying our country. They're taking over our
God.
schools, our
Love it.
hospitals, and they're going to be taking over Social Security. He is destroying Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid.
Yeah, I
The
don't give a
idea
fuck
is
about
that
that. What
we,
they
in
do,
fact, we
it's
were
destroyed.
The only ones of consequence who were not members of the Paris Accord. How can we do anything if we're not able to? The United States can't get it under control. One of the largest economies in the world. We're making significant progress. By 2035, we will have.
What the?
pollution
Oh, that's a
down.
pin. I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
thought it was a fucking. I thought it was like a fucking snorter or
We'll
something.
continue to make
I don't know.
progress.
He's just
Instead of
like
climate corps,
all over the
Been hanging
place.
around
thousands of
Hunter
young people
lately.
learn how to build just like Peace Corps. And we're going to.
I feel better. The Adderall's kicking in.
The elements of cause of pollution. But the idea that he claims that he has the biggest heart up here and he's really concerned about pollution and about climate, I've not seen any indication of that. And by the way, with regard to prescription drugs, one company agreed that they would reduce the price to $35, which I was calling for, one voluntarily. I made sure every company in the world, every pharmaceutical company cannot have to pay.
Thank you.
And by the way,
So every day,
By the
millions
way,
of Americans
done.
struggle just to make ends meet. For
Love it.
many older Americans, Social Security provides a critical lifeline.
CNN is trash,
President
but
Biden, if
goddamn.
nothing is
Muted?
done to
You're
Social
muted.
Security,
That's it.
seniors
We're done.
will see
Thank
their
you.
benefits
Thank
cut
you.
in just over 10 years. Will you name tonight one specific step that you're willing to take to keep Social Security solvent?
yes, make the very wealthy begin to pay their fair share.
Fair
Now,
share. Fair
Everybody making
share.
under $170,000 pays 6% of their income, of their paycheck, every single time they get a
6?
paycheck from the time
Fuck
the
off.
first one they get when they're 18 years old. The idea that they're gonna, I'm proposing that everybody, they pay, the millionaires pay 1%. So no one after, I would not raise the cost of Social Security.
Yeah,
for
don't
anybody
don't
under
adjust your
$400,000
spending at all.
without it begins to
Just
make the wealthy
just like
begin to
attack
pay
the
their fair
rich
share
people.
by
Right.
increasing
That's
from 1%
brilliant. It's
beyond
brilliant.
to be able to guarantee the
Fucking
program. for everybody.
tardos.
So you still have 82 seconds left. Are there any other measures that you think that would be able to help keep Social Security solvent, or is that one enough?
Well, no, that one enough will keep it solvent. But the biggest thing.
No,
will
but
be
I gotta take
we
a
can
shit
keep
all of a
this
sudden.
down
Yeah.
because he wants to get rid of Social Security.
I don't know
He
what to
thinks there's
do.
plenty to cut in Social Security. He's wanting to cut Social Security and Medicare both times, and that's what. And if you look at the program put forward by the House Republican caucus that he I believe supports, is in fact want to cut it as well. The idea that we don't need to protect our seniors is ridiculous. And by the way, the American public has greater health care coverage today than ever before.
No, they
And
don't.
The ACA,
You're
as I
fucking.
said,
This is
we're
a
in a
false.
circumstance where
No, they don't.
400,000 people, 40 million people would not have insurance because they have a pre-existing condition. Only thing that allows them to have that insurance is the fact that they, in fact, are part of the ACA. And by the way, the other thing is, we're in a situation where we talk about education for
It's high deductible
Black
plans.
families. I've
It's
raised
bullshit.
the
Like
number
you have to
the
pay
amount of money
$3,000
for
before you
Pell
actually get
Grant,
care and like
$8,000.
coverage.
Anybody
It's
making
fucking
under
bullshit.
$70,000 a year is going to be able to get $15,000 toward their tuition. He just doesn't know what he's talking about.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump.
He just doesn't know
I've
what he
dealt
was
with
talking about.
politicians
So he
all
went
my life.
from.
I've been on this side of
Oh
the
my God.
equation
Right.
for the last
No,
8
I'm good.
years. I've never seen anybody lie like this guy. He lies. I've never seen it. He can look you in the face. About so many other things too. And we mentioned the laptop. We mentioned Russia, Ukraine. Everything he does is a lie. It's misinformation and disinformation. The losers and suckers story. that
Don't
he
get too
made up
far
is
there,
a
Trump,
total lie of
because
the
guess what?
military. It's
Facebook will take it down.
But Social
Yeah.
Security, he's destroying it because millions of people are pouring into our country and they're putting them onto Social Security. They're putting them onto Medicare, Medicaid. They're putting them in our hospitals. They're taking the place of our citizens. What they're doing to the VA, to our veterans, is unbelievable. Our veterans are living in the street and these people are living in luxury hotels. He doesn't know what he's doing. And it's really coming back. I've never seen such anger in our country before.
President Biden.
The idea that veterans are not being taken care of, I told you before. And by the way, when I said suckers and losers, he acknowledged after that he fired that general. That general got fired because he's the one that acknowledged that that's what he said. He was the one standing with Trump when he said it. Number one. Number two.
What the fuck?
idea that
It doesn't make
virtually
sense.
Hey, how does he
all
figure out
these
these numbers?
millions and
I don't
millions,
know.
He talks about it. illegal aliens are coming into the country and taking away our jobs. There's a reason why we have the fastest growing economy in the world. The reason why we have the most successful economy in the world. We're doing better than any other nation in the world. And by the way, those 15 Nobel laureates he talked about being phony, those 15 Nobel laureates, economists, they all said that if Trump is reelected, we're likely to have a recession and inflation is going to increasingly go up. And by the way, worst president in history, 159 presidential scholars voted him the worst president in the history of the United States of America.
President
Oh,
Biden, thank
fucking
you so much.
shots
Let's turn to the
fired right
cost of
there. Like,
child care, which many American families struggle to afford. President Trump, both you and President Biden
what are you
have tried
drinking
to
there,
address
Brendan?
this issue. But the average cost of child care in this country has risen to more than $11,000
Buffalo
a year
Trace.
per child for many
Fuck
families.
yes.
The cost of child
Yep.
care for
Same.
2 children
I just
is
bought
more
3
than
bottles
their
tonight.
rent. In your second term,
I
what would you
had to
do
get a
make
lottery.
childcare more affordable?
I couldn't get it off the shelf.
The general
Crazy.
got
Really?
fired because he was
Yeah.
no good.
What'd you pay
And
for
if
it?
he said that, that's why he made it up.
36
But we have
bucks.
19 people that
Okay,
said
that's
he
not
did
bad.
that.
No.
And
I'm
he
sorry.
respected much more so
It
than
was
him.
like
The
$27,
other thing
$26. It
Let's
was
say.
he doesn't fire
$36
people.
for Eagle
He
Rare.
never fired people.
Yeah, we
I've
have
never
a
seen
we
him
have a
fire
major
anybody. I did
brand
fire a lot. I fired Comey because
liquor
he was
store
no
here.
good. I fired a lot of the top people at the FBI.
Buffalo
during
Trace
the
is 50
swamp.
bucks.
They were no good. Not easy to
My
fire
gas
people. You
station,
pay a
literally
price for
2
it,
blocks
but
away.
they were no good. I inherited
30.
these people. I didn't put them there. I didn't put Comey there. He was no good.
Yeah, I told him
I
straight up,
fired him.
order it.
This guy hasn't fired anybody.
I will buy
He never
every
fires.
bottle that you get.
He should have
Yeah.
fired every military man
like,
that was
"Are you
involved
serious?"
with that
I'm like, "Yep."
Afghan,
I bought
the
9 bottles so
Afghanistan
far.
horror show, the most embarrassing moment
Yeah, I
in the
mean,
history of our country.
It's
He didn't
fucking
fire. Did you
good.
Buffalo
fire
Trace should
anybody?
be like
Did you fire
25 to
anybody
30,
that's on the
you
border
know,
that's allowed
but
us to have the
it
worst
is what
border
it
in the
is.
history of the world? Did anybody
Buffalo
get fired
Trace
for allowing
was
18
around
million
before
people,
America was
many
born.
from prisons,
Did you know that?
many from mental
Buffalo Trace?
institutions? Did you
Yeah.
fire anybody that
No.
allowed our country to
Watch
be
the Joe
destroyed?
Rogan podcast. There's a
Joe,
Joe
our
Rogan
country is
podcast
being
about it
destroyed as you and I sit up here and waste a lot of time on this debate.
with
This
Dave
shouldn't be a
Chappelle.
debate. He is the worst president. He just said about me because I said it. But look, he's the worst president in the history of our country. He's destroyed our
I
country.
mean, it's
Now all of a
okay.
sudden he's
I
trying to
just,
get a
I
little
don't
tough
know.
on the border and come out
It's
with
good.
a
I mean,
a
It's all
nothing,
right.
a
I
nothing
when you
just,
can
deal,
find it
and he
cheap, it's
reduced it a
good.
little bit,
yeah.
But it's hard to
like
find
this much.
sometimes.
It's insignificant. He wants open borders. He wants our country to either be destroyed or he wants to pick up those people as voters. And I don't think we just can't let it happen. If he wins this election, our country doesn't have a chance, not even a chance, of coming out of this rut. We probably won't have a country left anymore. That's how bad it is. He is the worst in history by far.
Thank you, President Trump. President Biden?
We're the most admired country in the world. We're the United States of America. There's nothing beyond our capacity. We have the finest military in the history of the world, the finest in the history of the world.
We
No
always
one
have the
thinks we're
best
weak.
military.
No one.
When it's
Yeah,
never,
yeah, we're
it's never
awesome.
changed.
Nobody. Number
Yeah.
one.
Doesn't matter
Number
what
two, the
president.
idea that we're talking about worst presidents. I wasn't joking. Look it up. Go online.
Look it up.
59,
Go on
58,
Wikipedia.
don't hold me the exact number. Presidential historians, they've had meetings and they voted who's the worst president in American history. One through best to worst. They said he was the worst in all of American history. That's a fact. That's not
It's a
conjecture.
fact, Jack,
They can
because I
argue
pay
they're
them
wrong,
fucking
but
Jack.
they
100
vote.
million a fucking
The
pay
idea that
check.
he is doing anything to deal with
Shut up.
child care. He did virtually nothing
Dude.
with child care. We should significantly increase the child care tax credit. We should significantly increase the availability of women and men or single parents to be able to go back to work. And we should encourage businesses to have
Thank you, President
child care
Biden.
facilities.
President Trump, the question was about what would you do to make childcare more affordable, if you want to take your minute.
Just so
Straight
you
up.
understand, we have polling, we have other things that they rate him the worst because what he's done is so bad. And they rate me, I'll show you, I will show you. And they rate me one of the best. Okay.
I will show
If
you.
I'm
I
given
will show
another
you.
4 years, I will be the best. I think I'll be the best. Nobody's ever created an economy like us. Nobody ever cut taxes like us. He's the only one I know. He wants to raise your taxes by 4 times. He wants to raise everybody's taxes by 4 times. He wants
Hold
the
on.
Trump tax cuts to expire. So
Biden's
everybody,
Adderall is
including the
kicking
two
in.
of you,
Here
are
we
going to
go.
pay 4 to 5 times. Nobody ever heard
Look
of
at that
this
fucking
before.
smile,
All
dude.
Look at
my
that
life, I
smile.
grew
Yeah,
up and I
it's
see
totally
politicians
fucked.
talking about cutting
Oh,
taxes.
fuck.
When we cut taxes, as I said, we did more business. Apple and all these companies, they were bringing money back into our country. The worst president in history by far, and everybody knows it.
President Biden?
Look, fact of the matter is that he's dead wrong about, he's increased the tariff. He will increase the taxes on middle class people. I said I'd never raise a tax on anybody making less than $400,000. I didn't. But this tariff is 10% tariffs. Everything coming in the country, you know what?
Did you
economists
say
say?
increase the
That's gonna
tax of
cost the average American
$400,000?
$2,500 a year more because they're going to have to pay the difference in food and all the things that were important. Number
So
two,
ridiculous.
he's in a situation where he
Uh,
talks about how he has not raised, he's somehow helped the middle class. Middle class have been devastated by you. Now you want a new tax cut of $5 trillion over the next 10 years, which is going to fundamentally bankrupt the country. You have the largest deficit of any president in American history, number one. Number two, you have not, in fact, made any contact, any progress with China. We are the lowest trade deficit with China since 2010.
Thank you,
We're at the
President Biden.
highest. We lost
Thank you, President
$160,000.
Biden. Let's discuss an epidemic impacting millions of Americans that both of you have made.
what
Thank
the?
you. Thank you.
The
Thank you.
opioid
Stop talking.
Shut the
crisis.
fuck
For
up.
both of
You
you,
just
the number of overdose.
You sound
deaths in
stupid
this
right now.
country has gone up. Under
I know
your
I do.
term,
It'll
it
be
wasn't
okay.
Under your term, it has gone up. Former President Trump, despite the efforts that both
is
of you
it Pam
have made,
or
more than
Pan?
100,000 Americans are dying
Oh,
from overdoses
whatever you
every
want to
year,
call me, baby.
primarily from fentanyl and other opioids.
What is
What will you
going
do
on?
to help
Uh-oh.
Americans right now in the throes of
I can't hear
addiction
anything.
who are struggling to get the treatment they
Not
need?
hearing anything?
To finish up, we now have the largest deficit in the history of our country under this guy. We have the largest deficit with China. He gets paid by China. He's a Manchurian candidate. He gets money from China. So I think he's afraid to deal with them or something.
Yeah.
But do you notice he never took out my tariffs because we bring in so much money with the tariffs that I imposed on China. He never took them away.
Hello.
He can't because it's too
I
much
can hear
money.
you. Can you hear
Can't
me?
hear anything.
Tremendous. And we saved our steel industry.
Can you hear me?
But he hasn't done that. But he hasn't cut the tariffs because he can't, because it's too much money. But he's got the largest deficit in the history
Hello.
of our country. He's
Hello.
got the worst situation with
I
China.
can't even hear
China's going to own us if you keep allowing them
Yank.
to do what they're doing to
Hello.
Nope. Don't you mute me. Don't you mute me. Can you hear me?
7 seconds left. The question.
Can you hear me? Nothing? Nothing. Hold on. Can you hear me? I'm hearing shit from you.
I cannot hear shit right now. What's going on, Yank?
Can't hear nothing? Seriously? We're gonna pause it. I'm pausing. Can you hear me now? Nothing? That's a good picture though. Holy shit. I don't know what to do.
These big machines. that
I
roll
don't know
over
what to do.
and
You
come
can't hear
across the
me?
border. And it costs a lot of money. That was part of this deal we put together. This bipartisan deal. More fentanyl machines, more be able to detect drugs, more numbers of agents, more number. That deal done, he called his Republican colleagues, said, "Don't do it. It's going to hurt me politically." No, he never argued it's not a good bill. It's a really good bill. We need those machines. We need those machines.
Can you not
We're
hear
coming
me
down
at
very
all,
hard in every
or-
country in
You hear me
Asia
or
in
what?
terms of precursors for
I can
fentanyl,
hear you.
and Mexico is working with us to make sure they don't have the technology
Can you hear
to be able
me?
to put it together. That's what we
Hey.
have to do. We need those machines.
Thank you, President Biden. President Trump, and again, the question is about Americans in the throes of addiction right now, struggling to get the treatment they need.
Well, this because there's
Can
no
you hear
fentanyl
me?
in it. Good.
Try it again.
Who keeps
Can you hear me?
word, and everybody trusts us. All of our allies and our those who he
Can you hear me?
Or
love letters to and Putin, etc. They don't want to screw around with us.
yeah.
Thank you. Former President Trump, to follow up, you would be 82 at the end of your second term. What do you say to voters who have concerns about your capabilities to serve?
Well, I took
You got
two
nothing
cognitive
volume-wise.
tests. I aced them.
What's that?
Both of them, as you know. We made it public. He took none. I'd like to see him take one, just one, a real easy one.
Can you hear me?
Go through the first 5 questions. He couldn't do it. But I took 2 cognitive tests. I took physical exams every year.
Can you hear me?
And, you know,
Yeah.
I can hear you.
wherever we may have wood, that I'm in very good health. I just won 2 club championships, not even senior, 2 regular club championships. To do that, you have to be quite smart and you have to be able to hit the ball a long way. And I do it. He doesn't do it. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. He challenged me to a golf match. He can't hit a ball 50 yards. I think I'm in very good shape. I feel that I'm as in good a shape as I was 25, 30 years ago. Actually, I'm probably a little bit lighter, but I'm in as good a
I got
shape as
nothing.
I was years ago. I
Seriously?
feel very good. I feel the same. But I was willing to take a cognitive test. And you know what? If I didn't do well, I aced them. Dr. Ronald
All right, I got
Jackson,
you.
who's a great guy when he was White House doctor. And then I took another one, a similar one. And one of them said they've never seen anybody ace them.
Shut the-
Thank you. President Biden?
Hey,
You can
Chuck,
see he is 6'5".
please tell
and
me.
only
Can you still hear me or can you hear him?
235
I wonder.
Well, you said 6'4", 200.
Marsh.
Well, anyway, that's it. Anyway, just take a look at what he says he is. Take a look at what he is. Look, I'd be happy to have a driving contest with him. I got my handicap, which when I was vice president, down to a 6. And by the way, I told you before, I'm happy to play golf if you carry your own bag. Think you can do it?
That's the biggest lie. He's a 6 handicap of all.
I was an 8 handicap. But I have, you know how many?
I've seen you swing. I know you swing.
What's my camera
Okay,
works,
let's
but
go
that's
to
fine.
Act like children.
President Trump, we're going to
21
turn
Go, 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 go!
You
to
are
a
a child.
specific concern that voters have about you. Will you pledge tonight
Jonathan?
that once all legal challenges have been exhausted, that you will accept the
Nothing?
results of this election, regardless of who wins? And you will say right now that political
guessing
violence in
nothing.
any form is unacceptable.
Well, I shouldn't have to say that, but of course I believe that. It's totally unacceptable. And if you would see my statements that I made on Twitter at the time, and also my statement that I made in the Rose Garden, you would say it's one of the strongest statements you've ever seen. In addition to the speech I made in front of, I believe, the largest crowd I've ever spoken to. And I will tell you, nobody ever talks about that. They talk about a relatively small number of people that went to the Capitol and in many cases were ushered in by the police. And as Nancy Pelosi said, it was her responsibility, not mine. She
I
said
don't
that
know.
loud and
It's all
clear.
good.
But the answer is, if the election is fair, free, and I want that more than anybody. And I'll tell you
Check one,
something.
two.
I wish he was a great president. Yeah.
I don't know. Fucking crazy.
Hold on, I'm checking it.
I wish he was a great president.
Nothing. All right, man. I'm going to bed. Fuck it. Good night.
Can you hear me now? Nothing? Can't hear me? Oh, how you doing? Hola. I'm cranking this shit up. Can you hear me? Check 1, 2. Nope.